Call aloud, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Baal Shem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Salutation to the Akim pushing this word in truth and sincerity. Just another video about the coming World War III, what the Lord predicted. So here we go.
Nearly 64,000 U.S. troops stationed in Europe could be deployed to the continent's eastern flank if President Biden makes such a call to counter growing Russian aggression at the border with Ukraine. The USS Harry S. Truman has already been placed under NATO command for the first time since the end of the Cold War, while 40 warships, 175 aircraft, and 90 tanks situated throughout Europe could also be readied for conflict. Biden has ordered 8,500 U.S.-based troops to stand ready to deploy to Eastern Europe, while military officials have presented him with a plan to send 50,000 more if the security situation deteriorates and Russia launches an invasion into Ukraine. At the same time, the U.S. told families based at the U.S. Embassy in Kyiv to go home due to the continued threat of such an attack, the State Department said Sunday. Though the number fluctuates due to changing withdrawals and deployments, the U.S. had about 175,000 troops stationed abroad as of September 2021. A total of nearly 64,000 of those service members were stationed in Europe. The U.S. has about 750 military bases across 80 countries. Command for the U.S.'s 40 warships is based out Italy, and the U.S. has already flexed its muscle to Russia by sending ships to the politically fraught Black Sea. Germany houses the largest deployment of U.S. troops in Europe, and only Japan and America have more U.S. troops based there. There are 468 U.S. troops in Germany, 21,585 Army, 13,009 Air Force, and small numbers of troops from the Marine Corps and Navy. There are 21 U.S. military bases across Germany, with the largest presence at Stuttgart, headquarters of United States European Command, EUCOM, and U.S. Africa Command, and Ramstein, headquarters of U.S. Air Force operations in Europe. And while Germany previously housed some 5,000 U.S. tanks in the height of the Cold War in 1989, it is now permanent home to none. The Army temporarily deploys one armored brigade at a time, each on a 9-month rotation. A typical armored brigade is made up of 90 M1 tanks and 130 Bradley fighting vehicles plus around 18 M109 self-propelled howitzers. But there remains a problem. Europe's aging bridges may not be ready for the 68-ton M1 Abrams tanks. The Army has been struggling to purchase more armored bridge layers to help these heavy vehicles pass. The M1 Abrams has been in use in war zones since 1980, while the Bradley fighting vehicle is a heavily armed and armored troop transporter that launches fire toward enemy lines to provide cover. The howitzer is a 30-ton gun that can hit targets up to 19 miles away. And while NATO has a presence of about 130 tanks, including the 90 U.S. vehicles, Russia, even before its recent aggression, kept about 760 tanks within striking distance of NATO's Baltic members. Ukraine shares a border with 4 NATO countries: Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, and Romania. Italy has the second highest U.S. presence in Europe, with 12,436 troops, 4,081 belonging to the Army, 4,742 Air Force, and 3,497 Navy. The Naples port is the headquarters of the 6th Fleet, or U.S. Naval Forces Europe-Africa. The Aviano Air Base is home to 2 U.S. F-16 fighter jet squadrons. The F-16 is a popular air-to-air combat jet used by 25 air forces. In the United Kingdom, there are 9,576 U.S. troops, almost entirely members of the Air Force, with small numbers of service members from other branches. Spain has 3,423 U.S. troops stationed there. Belgium has 1,143, Greece has 429, Portugal has 259, and Romania has 132. A handful of other nations have a U.S. troop presence smaller than 100. There are also currently more than 150 U.S. military advisors in Ukraine, who have operated at a training ground near Lviv for years. It includes Special Operations Forces, mostly Army Green Berets, and National Guard trainers from Florida's 53rd Infantry Brigade Combat Team. While the US intends to move its military trainers out of Ukraine swiftly should a full-scale Russian invasion occur, it's also possible some American forces could stay to advise Kiev officials and provide frontline support, a US official told The Times. However, roughly 6,000 US troops are deployed to Eastern Europe on a rotating basis, including about 4,000 are currently in Poland. The US 6th Fleet, which leads European Command, is comprised of roughly 175 aircraft and 40 warships. European Command is headquartered in Germany. Biden's potential plan would see between 1,000 and 5,000 soldiers sent to NATO nations such as Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia, which border Russian territory. Troop numbers could then be increased up to 50,000 if the security situation deteriorates, backed up by fresh deployments of ships and aircraft.
If you're over 60 in the UK, do not buy a funeral plan until you watch this video.
This is Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves, and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Yehoshaphat, that's the valley of judgment. And he's talking about all these other nations. The heathens are anyone outside of the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, of native and native Indians, of Negro and Indian so-called Gadites, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Apache descent, yeah? The Israelites. For I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. The Chinese man, the American man, the Arab man, the East Indian man, the Hamite, smear your face with doo-doo, Hamite, so-called indigenous African man, yeah. And he says, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow of their for their wickedness is great. This is all happening mainly for putting their hands, the cracker, the Edomite, the red man, putting his hands on the children of Israel. But what nation haven't had of her spoils, says the Bible. That's why he's gathering all the heathen round about. multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. We're getting closer and closer to that day. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw her shining. That's all the understanding why this is happening. The Lord said he's going to withdraw it. He's going to just bring you down there to blow each other to smithereens. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heathens, the earth shall shake. And the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people. Who are his people? Matthew's 1:21. Is it 1 John 2 and 4, 2 and 6? Out of Israel will come a governor that will rule. Out of Zion shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Yeah, God's people are Israel. What's that? Exodus 4 and 6. Tell Pharaoh, Israel is my firstborn. Yeah. Joel 2:27. You shall know I'm in the midst of Israel, that I'm the Lord your God and none else. Amos 3 and 1. You only have I known of all the family of the earth. Therefore I'll punish you. It's there. It's straight and plain. God's people are only the blacks, Hispanics, and native Indians. Not the small hats or the big noses, the Amalekites. Those Ish people in our land claiming to be us. Well, I've got the biggest gay parade in the world, Tel Aviv, Pink City, eating kosher pork.